Well, I'm going to tell you the turning point. Contractors came to, we have historic brick streets. And now like I said, I was not in the game. I was on the sidelines, and contractors came to actually remove the brick streets. And so with me being in the community, I kind of knew like there was some kind of protections on the bricks. I didn't really know what, but I kind of knew like they was not supposed to be removed. And so when I encountered a contractor trying to remove the bricks, I informed him like, hey, like you're not supposed to be doing that. These bricks are federally protected. Now, I didn't really know I didn't know the extent of the protection, but I knew that it was kind of some kind of federal protection on the streets. And so when I questioned him, in his response to me was, we're going to take these bricks and there's nothing you can do about it. And it just like a light just flicked on in me. And I was just like, oh, okay. And so I just felt like maybe it was something ancestral, or I don't really know what it was, but something in me just told me to go and get reinforcements. So I went around the corner to the community a corner store where a lot of the residents were gathered. And I was like, they're trying to take the bricks and they're not supposed to be doing it. And so the residents came back with me to the site, and it was just like a whole big ordeal. Like it's undescribable when I sit here, when I think about it now and thinking about just really what we did, because if they would have been successful in removing these bricks, that is the cornerstone and the footprint of our community. And so by me not being engaged with any organization, I just happened to be at the right place at the right time, knowing that, it was some kind of protections on these streets. And when I got the community to like ride behind me, and I thought to myself, like, well, maybe I can, really do something to, help preserve. And that started my fight. That started my, quest to preserve my community. Okay, so Freedmanstown was established in 1865 on the southern banks of Buffalo Bayou. So freedmen and women were liberated from different plantations in Texas and Louisiana. And it was, I don't know how everyone knew to come here, but it just seemed like this was the mecca of the calling place for African American. Freedmanstown was, and 8 families pitched tents on Buffalo Bayou, and it's just the beginning of our legacy in Freedmanstown. And what the most important thing I want to stress about Freedmanstown is that we have a legacy that does not begin with slavery. Everything that was accomplished down here was accomplished by free men and women. And that's the most important thing that needs to be stated, because as I grew up in the area, I was always told that the slaves did this, the slaves did that. So imagine me growing up, figuring out for myself, like, it wasn't even a slave narrative. They were just trying to, keep us away from the history, and so we can know ourselves as a people. And so Freedmanstown from the beginning was built for the resilience of its members. Now, Freedmanstown, we didn't get all this glory and gumption by ourselves. We had help. We had help from the missionaries. We had help from the Jews, the Italians. We had help from everyone down here, because at the time, Fourth Ward was a place for undesirables, as we like to call them. And so it was a melting pot of a lot of people who were kind of pushed off. And being in and on the banks of Buffalo Bayou, I'm pointing, but you can't see, but I'm pointing toward the original settlement of Freedmanstown, because it's actually Allen Parkway. And so with the migration of from 1865, we kind of came over into this way and just built a thriving community from nothing, but with help. And so that needs to be established. Yes, the freedmen and women did establish this community, but they had help, because we can't do anything. No one can do anything alone. And I think that's the most important thing. It was the self-sufficiency and the collaboration of everyone to actually pull up by your bootstraps and, and get after it, for your own good, and not building an economy for someone else, a sustainable economy for someone else that you don't benefit from. And so we were always workers. We were always, the brains behind the labor and everything. And so when it was our time to show what we can do on our own, we showed it, and that's Freedmanstown, because Houston's first Black everything came from Freedmanstown. Well, this building behind me, this is the Freedmanstown Association. Freedmentown Association was founded in 1981 as a housing and economic development nonprofit by Gladys House L., Linwood Johnson, Darrell Patterson, and other concerned residents of Freedmentown. At the time, 500. In 1983, Ms. House and a member of the Historical Commission took a tour of Freedmentown to partake in this rich history and see all our heritage. And in 1985, Freedmentown was actually placed on the National Register of Historic Places. At the time, 568 structures stood. Now it's less than 30 with 2 remaining brick streets. Right, so now we had the federal protection in the 80s, but we didn't have the local protection. So that's how the city was able to make cuts in the streets and bulldoze a lot of our historic structures. Most of our oldest churches and structures were destroyed due to enemy domain and all other kind of city attacks. Also in this building is the 4th Ward Health and Educational Center. It was founded in 1983 by Darrell Patterson. Mr. Patterson worked the center until his death in 2017. Now the center has a Darrell J. Patterson Innovation Lab where we launched a STEM pilot, to teach kids the coding. They're actually developing a video game to save this historic community from further destruction. And so that's the plans that we have. And Freedmentown Association also provides affordable housing for grassroots residents who were pushed out due to gentrification. So we have 3 units here. We have 4 units on the next street that we provide affordable housing. And you don't have to be on government assistance. You don't have to be on anything. If you have grassroots or your family have grassroots in Freedmentown, we have affordable housing so that you can live in your community that was founded by your people in an affordable rate where you can actually prosper. And so that's kind of some of the things that we're doing to kind of help combat the gentrification, because I tell people all the time, gentrification is not about race, it's about green dollars, and whoever can pay at the time, that's who they're gearing toward. And when you can't pay, no matter the color of your skin, you got to go too. And so I've seen gentrification come right back around 20 years later and get the new residents with the increased taxes, because taxes are so high down here. And they felt like they were tricked and bamboozled to come down here too. And so with that, the residents finally seeing that we are not enemies. We really are neighbors, and we should be fighting the same fight together. It's not the city of Houston, it's us against the city of Houston. We're taxpayers. And so we're trying to get the new residents to kind of be more active in the community and meeting the needs of the people that were gentrified, so you can have your luxury condo.
Sharonda works with everybody. She don't care if you're a millionaire. She don't care if you got 2 cents to rub together. She don't care if you're homeless. Like, she feed people. I see her walking down the street with grocery bags and take people food. Because that's what Freedmentown Association does. It supports the community, and regardless to whatever that community need is. And she knows the old residents. She knows the new residents. She know everybody. Everybody know her. So,
right. So I just take it upon myself to try to do what little good I can do. And I try to be the example. So if I'm wanting someone to come help me restore my property, they'll help me much faster if I'm out there actually restoring my property, and so because like I said, this is my community. And so I've seen what not doing or not taking active role in the community does. And I wanted to make sure that didn't happen on my watch. So I actively, engage the community. It's so much trickery and things that has been done by the city of Houston and other entities that, people are just tired. We're tired of the politicians coming down here serenading us, singing sweet sermons to us, about our community and about, our heritage. And people are just tired. And so I just made it a point for me to convert my energy into helping the ones that are tired. We have people like Miss Gladys House. She's actually been fighting for this community for 50 years, 50 calendar straight years. Because she couldn't find the information when she was in school about her community. And Mr. Darrell Patterson, he's deceased, and I took over for him. And he actually served this community until his death. And so the sacrifice that the my ancestors living and that have passed, you know, that's the fuel. That's all I need, because I have big shoes to fill, and it's an honor to walk with these people. To actually, they've sacrificed their life for something, you know, and this is what ultimately led me to, you know, trying to make sure that the community is not marginalized anymore. Because what good is a church or organization in the community that does not serve the people of the community? And so the people of the community was getting lost in the development, the redevelopment, the revitalization, everything the community was getting lost in. And so I just said, if we can't whine and complain about things, like, so do something to make it better. And so I chose to work. Instead of whining about the services that the city didn't provide, I chose to work and do the stuff myself, just like my ancestors did in 1865. They didn't whine about what they didn't get from the enslavers. You know, they actually put their minds together and actually accomplish something. So it's an honor for me to be walking in those same footsteps